Yep, Mr. Clean. All right, good evening, everyone. The time is now 7:02 p.m. We will kick off the May 5th, 2026 Montoursville Board of Directors meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise if you can and join us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, no recognitions or presentations on the evening. Before we go to public comment portion of the meeting, we're doing a reading of notice. This meeting was the one that was scheduled for the 28th of April, but we had board docs issues, so we're doing it today, and then we'll go back to our normal schedule for May next week. May 12th. All right. No, May 12th. Well, that is.
That's next week, Todd.
All right.
Wow.
All right, that'll take us to the first public comment portion of the evening. This is for residents and taxpayers to comment on matters of concern, official action or deliberation before the board. If you have anything you'd like to say, come on up, state your name and your address.
Ron Scow, Lower Manor. First thing I want to talk about is there's 3 agenda items, agreements with the SBA. 4.5 actually says that that agreement, once it's made, is a free agreement, no cost to the district. 4.4, it says that it's $2,000 cost. But 4.3 doesn't give any cost. And I'm curious what the cost is going to be to the district if that's approved. The other thing I want to bring up is I've been to every meeting where the budget's been discussed. There's 9 board members on this board. Every meeting, there's been talk of the only conversations is about tax increases. I want to know why there's no conversation about ways to cut costs. There has been 0, and I mean 0 conversation about anything to cut costs. I think it's time that a deep dive is done and look at ways to cut costs to save property owners from having a massive tax increase.
Carmen Hero once said, "The trail leaves us at a forking road. We can become stuck in a bad moment forever, or we can put it behind us for good. We decide our path." Good evening, members of the school board, administrators, and community members. Thank you for giving Montoursville cheerleaders the opportunity to speak at this meeting today. My name is Bryn Connolly, and I'm going into my senior year as a varsity cheerleading squad. I am very passionate about my sport and dedicated to my team. On behalf of our cheerleading team, I'd like to start this off by expressing our gratitude for you all. This past year has been challenging for us in many ways, but you continue to support us through all of our hardships. We are incredibly thankful for your willingness to invest in us, especially for continuing to cover our costs for choreography for this year. Your support shows that you believe in our team, our effort, and what we mean to our community. As you know, the season has tested us in ways we never expected. From our Texas trip being cut short due to weather, to our poor financial state, and to sudden and difficult changes within our program. We face moments of confusion, uncertainty, and heartbreak. But through it all, your support reminds us that we're not on our own and that we're part of a community. I also want to speak a little on the emotional side of this past season, for that's something that often goes unseen. Our former coach, Amber, was a huge part of our lives for many years. For me personally, I became especially close with her this past year. She became like a close friend to me, a mentor, and helped shape me into the person I am today. When we first heard the news that she'd be stepping away, I vividly remember being gathered in the locker room, crying alongside my shattered teammates. At the time, we didn't fully understand what was happening. We were worried, confused, and heartbroken, wondering if she'd come down with a serious medical issue that required immediate attention. As more information came out, it became harder and harder to process. I can't speak for everyone, but I know for me, it wasn't just about losing a coach. It felt like losing a best friend who we trusted and cared for deeply. At the same time, it brought feelings of hurt and betrayal that I couldn't even put into words. I know that the situation didn't just impact our cheer squad, it affected the entire school as well. And while there is a lot of frustration and anger, I think what gets overlooked is the impact it had on us all. However, through this hardship, we learned something important. We learned how to support one another even when things don't make sense. We learned how to stay strong even when our emotions are complicated. And above all, we learned that even in difficult situations, we can choose to grow and move on instead of letting it break us apart. And that's exactly what we did. We finished our season strong, and I couldn't be more proud of us. This year pushed us in ways we didn't want to be pushed, but it also brought us closer together and made us a family. It also gave us a new leader, Coach Jay, who stepped up to the challenge and what we needed her the most. This experience taught us resilience, empathy, and what it truly means to be a team. It also taught me how to be a leader, even when the path looks unsure. So tonight, I just wanted to say thank you for standing by us during such a challenging year and for helping us move forward. And please consider my teammates' points as they speak to you next. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carly Lundy. This is my fourth and final year on the varsity leadership team, and I want nothing but the best for this program. I just want to take a minute to express how grateful that we all are for the support that you continue to give us through these hard times and all the resources we have this Friday. During these hard times, I feel the team has really been able to come closer with each other to overcome all the obstacles that stood in our way. We are all very appreciative of the support and the fact that you're willing to cover our entire cost of traditional choreography this year. Our team is so fortunate to be able to have choreography. It is definitely something that brings us together as a team and something we look forward to do all season. Choreography is our way of learning our routine so we can compete not only districtly and statewide, but also regionally and nationally. When we have choreography, we get a choreographer that knows the judging rubric and the way we will be scored in all aspects of the routine, since it is her job to know the rubric and the way we're going to be scored. Our choreography is made uniquely for our team in this boat that we have. Unfortunately, having a coach do that for us isn't the most ideal situation due to it being really stressful happens and not knowing the rubric as well as a professional choreographer. We have been very fortunate for you all to be covering the costs for the last 4 years, and we would really appreciate it if it was possible for it to continue in the future, even if it's not the full amount. I believe all the girls and I can say we would like to leave what happened last year in the past and not have it keep being brought up. We don't want to have the new girls have the weight on their shoulders that we had in years to come. We want to have a fresh start. We just want to cheer and continue the sport that we love without having a heavy weight on our shoulders. Thank you for your time and consideration. And then, on behalf of Annalena Sawyer, I want to start by thanking the board and all the school for all of the support that they have shown us. I wanted to share all the accomplishments that my class has made during our time on the team with the school's financial support. During all years at cheer camp, the team has won awards showing phenomenal team chemistry and leadership. We've also had several All-Americans throughout all 3 years at camp. We've had bids for nationals for both of our teams, traditional and game day, all 3 years of us being on the team. In 2024 and 2025 season, we were finalists for the Go Be Great Award, which is an award given to a team that has shown tremendous success in helping their community and going above and beyond. We also succeeded in being the 2025 district champions. In that same season, we qualified for states and we were finalists. Thank you for listening to everything we've accomplished while being a resourceful warrior, and we hope you take it into consideration.
Good evening. My name is Amelia Minotti, and this will be my 4th and final year in the cheerleading program. Thank you for having us tonight. I would like to discuss the national trip we took earlier this year to Texas. Texas was a very unfortunate event, as all of us girls were very excited to perform and represent our school at the national level. But unfortunately, weather is out of our control, and as soon as we landed in Texas, we got the news from the district that we would have to return home the next day. My fellow teammates and myself were upset that we came all this way not to represent our school at the national level, which we were very excited about. We appreciate the concern for our safety. However, the financial situation before and after Texas was also not in our control, as we already fundraised to cover the trip, which was stolen from us. During the meeting before the wrestling match on December 11, 2025, the coaches, parents, and student athletes were informed that the district would cover all financial aspects of the trip if we decided to go to Texas. 4 months later, we are being asked to pay back the expenses from the trip, even though we were informed that we didn't have to worry about it. After learning this information, the coaches and the team immediately became more stressed about the financial situation, wondering how we were going to fundraise this amount of money when fundraising is already hard enough as it is. We would like to politely request that you cover the expenses for our hotel rooms in Texas so that the cheerleading program can move forward with our season and not have to worry about the stress of last season's expenses. Please take our request into consideration and thank you for everything that you've done for us this past year. We appreciate your love and support as we continue through this season. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Good evening, my name is Camille. I'm a part of the graduating class of 2027. I would like to thank all board members for taking the time to listen to me and my fellow cheerleaders. I take extreme pride in being a great cheerleader, from Friday night lights to wrestling matches and basketball games and giving back to our community. Throughout all the hard and proud things we playing us out loud, it would be beneficial not only us, but our fellow cheerleaders to speak with you this evening. I'd like to start off by thanking the board for their recent decision to cover the costs for our choreography this year. As you know, we faced one of the most challenging years in most of our lives. When I found out that one of the people I care about most stole from not only myself, my fellow cheerleaders, but also from the community members who have supported us over the years, I was devastated. I appreciated how the school district was open and honest with us regarding the entire situation. One of the things most people don't understand about this sport is the time and financial commitment it takes to make our year successful. I would like to ask you as a board to reconsider asking the cheerleaders to pay back the hotel fees from our trip to Texas. We fully understand that the financial responsibility doesn't fall on the board. We simply need a little help to get back on our feet. However, we are starting from ground zero, reducing the amount of money we have to pay back. That was no fault of our own, but the fault of somebody we thought cared greatly about us. We would be very helpful to us. One of my main priorities is to not let one of my younger teammates experience what I did last year. We as upperclassmen feel it is our responsibility to ensure that Montoursville cheerleading continues as we know it. I would personally like to see the program move forward from this. Myself and fellow cheerleaders are willing to put in the work to make this year as successful as possible. I know with our coaches, newly appointed Booster Club board, parents, and community members, we will set this program up for a great future. That will be one of the things I am most proud of when I graduate. Another thing that I've taken away from my high school experience is how much the school values their students and wants to see them succeed. School is a big part of most of our lives, and I can't speak for all students, but the support of teachers and administrators doesn't go unnoticed. That being said, I plan on furthering my education with hopes of one day becoming a high school educator myself. This experience will help me understand my future students and their needs when they face hardships of their own. Wouldn't it be neat if I got the opportunity to come back, teach, and further help the future of this community? Once again, I would like to thank the board, my coaches, teachers, parents, fellow teammates, and community members for your time and support through one of the most challenging times in our lives.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Paige Rosbaum, and this is my 4th and final year on the Montoursville varsity cheer squad. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us this evening. Before we close, there are a few things that I would like to say. First of all, the sport of cheerleading is about lifting others up and about shining bright in a dark world. We would not be able to do that without the support of our school and our community. We would like to thank you for your continuous support in our endeavors, and we ask that you stay strong in your commitment to us as a team in the future years. We want to thank you for attending our end of season showcase that we held a few months ago. It really meant a lot to the girls on the team when we saw the support from those in our school and those on the board. Our goal is to leave a legacy for the girls after us so that they may have access to so many opportunities. After the season, we are hoping to leave a solid foundation for future years so that the team never has to worry about financial problems like we had to in years past. We are hoping to build a program that leans on each other in hard times and does not lie to or take advantage of each other. We are asking for your support in this endeavor for the future of our cheerleading program. Once again, we would like to express our gratitude as a team and thank you for your support in this past year and in years to come. Thank you.
Does the board mind if I address the ladies? Typically, we don't. First of all, I just want to say thank you for coming up and being so grateful and courteous and respectful. I really appreciate that. But more importantly, I want to thank you for your dedication and resilience through a very tumultuous year. That speaks highly of your character, and that's a very important tool to have in your pocket as you progress through life. So I think I can speak for all of us in the board and in the district that we're very proud of you and the way you handle the situation, you and your families. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ms. White, please feel free to come back and teach here. All right, seeing no one else in the room, we'll go to Zoom. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise your hand. All right, seeing none, that will close the first public comment portion of the meeting and we will move on to general agenda items. I think we can combine 4.1 through 4.5. Everyone's okay with that? You are, I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second. Are there any questions or comments on those? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Very well. 5.1 approval of the following additions and resignations and changes to the staff. I'll take a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve.
Second. All right, the only comment that I do have is Allison Groshek, who is on here, is no longer going to be part of our professional staff. She got scooped up by Lewisburg, unfortunately. Lewis. What was this you're doing?
No.
Right, are there no other questions, comments? Abstain. Abstain? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right.
So there are you in here, help me out. We'll start with the teachers. Sydney's here. She's our new science teacher,
Oh,
so welcome aboard. He's super excited to join. That's the same smile you had at the end of interviews, so congratulations. Tiffany is in Utah, I believe, so she will be moving here with her husband. Her husband is from Montgomery, so they want to be back in the area. So that's we're excited about her. She happened to be student teacher of the year at Brigham Young University. So she comes with some credentials. And then finally, I think there's someone else in the room. And I want to thank and that's the reason for the abstaining. I want to thank the admin team for being here as well. I think it shows the support that you have in coming home to Montoursville. So welcome back to Rhonda Albert, taking over as high school principal on July 1. It'll actually be delayed a little because we're closed July 1. So welcome back. I don't know if there's anything you would like to say or address the room here.
First of all, hi, everybody. It's super glad to see you. I just feel like, my path to this point is not probably how I would chose it to happen, but I am fully convinced everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen. I love this high school. I've invested a ton of time into it, and I'm really appreciative of your faith in me and the support of the admin team. Thanks everyone for being here. That means a lot to me. And I'm just excited to be back, and I never truly left in my heart, but I feel like I'm coming back better and stronger, and just feel like this needed to happen. So thank you for bringing me home.
I just have to say that I'm tickled pink, as I said, not going over the curriculum coordinator. I think that we're on the right path to really making a great district, and I'm very excited and welcome back. So.
Oh, we are a great district.
What? Well, we are a great district. Don't I get that, but I just,
Even great.
even greater, sorry. Even better.
Congratulations, Johnson. I'm excited for that too. Good stuff. Big win for Montoursville all around. All right, moving on to policy 6.1, approval of the first reading of policy 807, opening exercises, flag displays.
So go ahead and do first and second, and then someone will have to, if they want to waive the second reading, you'll have to first and second that one as well. This is a redo because we didn't second the waiving of the second readings.
Just wondering, I think, didn't we
Yeah.
pass this?
We missed the second.
So the solicitor caught it, and that's why we're redoing. Need to be on board. So we need a first and second on this.
Motion approved.
Second,
And then somebody, if they choose, they can make a motion to waive the second reading.
motion to waive the second reading.
We did,
Did we do it right?
yes.
Okay.
We got first and seconds on everything. Okay, any questions or comments on either of those?
Other than I hope the vote goes the same as last time because the flags are ordered.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. I for one think this is an excellent thing. I'm glad we're doing it.
Me too.
All right, discussion for future actions, Ms. Fife.
Yeah.
So this is the same presentation that I was gonna do on April 28th. But I did make sure I made a note that I changed the date, your May 5th of 26, but it was rescheduled from May 5th. So the one that is out there on the board agenda is still this same presentation, so everybody knows. I'm just gonna touch base on everything. So we're just gonna recap our revenues. I don't want to go into too much detail because it really has not changed. These numbers are still the same numbers that I've been presenting to you. Our real estate numbers are there. You'll see that that's decreasing. I put some different little notes in here just to kind of give you a little bit of an explanation of like how the values dipped in some of the appeals. That's why our real estate popped down. Interim real estate taxes are just new construction. You'll see there's those no changes. I thought it was interesting, public utility taxes. I wanted to show you that that's like Verizon, PPNL, UGI. Those payments in lieu of taxes, those are our state gain lands, water conservation, public housing. I just put the earned income tax rate in there, which is currently at that 1.15%. The real estate transfer, which is presently at just 0.5%. Those are just some information on those numbers, but again, those numbers have not changed. So if I go over into here, this is just some additional athletic events, activity, participation fees, device insurances, IDEA, rentals, those again have not changed. But I did want to put in here that all of our local revenue is at 52.1% of our total revenue coming in. That's over half of our revenue is based off of our local, which is our taxes and the different things that we do. Our state revenues, I made sure I did make note because I have gotten that question. That is actually the full amount that was proposed by the governor in this 26-27 budget. So those are the proposed numbers for Montoursville, but that's the full number. That's actually what I budgeted for. These are all of your state revenues, and when I did that figure, you're looking at 46.9% of our total revenues are state. And I did our federal revenues and you'll see that they're just 1%. But again, like I said, those numbers have not changed. Expenditure recap. I did want to point out our wages and benefits. Our wages and benefits are 65.2% of our total expenditures. That's a big number, and the biggest thing there and our biggest driver here right now is our health insurance costs at that 9.9% increase. And of course, wages and adjustments.
I'll make you feel better. The IU's was 11.1.
These are just some additional expenditures, other purchases, supplies. You'll see there's some decreases, but again, there's also just some increases in those. But the big one on this screen or on this slide is our bond payment. And then I'm gonna go into just our revenues versus our expenditures. The past 25, 26, and 24, 25, there was some money built in for those bonds. But if you just look at what our revenues are and what our expenditures are projected to be, you're looking at a deficit of $1.3 million. When I figure in that $467,500, we're actually at a deficit of $836,028. So no matter what, there is going to be a deficit on this. Our revenues aren't, and our expenditures are surpassing. So I figured out our fund balance. So our fund balance, which is our audited figures from 25, 26, we ended at that 4.9 million. We have unassigned amounts of 4.5 million. We have some committed, which we have those committed to the Pepezer's employer contributions at 359,000. I did go in and do some estimates, just the same slides as last time. The estimates that I was looking at on some of the expenses we have. In comparison to what our final budget was when she passed it for the 25, 26, it looks like we are going to come ahead at 51,000. Again, those are just estimates of what I'm seeing. And if we were to come ahead at that 51,000, you're going to look at a projected fund balance coming into the 26, 27 year of 4.9 million. I wanted to throw the health insurance trends in here. This is actually what LCIC and what our percentages have looked like. So I did 2019 all the way up until this current year. We've been pretty level, but you'll see we had this 6% right here. Right there was the average projected increase for 23, 24, and then it started to scale up. You're gonna see where that 8.5, then the 6.5. It dropped to 6.5 because the LCIC actually did some subsidizing of their own funds to be able to level that out. But because of that, then you're seeing why this year is so high at that 9.9%. The millage summary, which you guys saw last one, I presented to you a no increase at the 17.9. Those are those figures, and that is our deficit at that 836,000. I kind of played with the math a little bit. I'm sorry for the 1.1%, 2.2%, but it kind of worked out. We're actually suggesting, I'm looking at this, I'm suggesting that 3% increase at that 17.65% for your 17.65 for your millage. No matter what, with our index, I can't balance the budget. So if I hit our max increase, which is 17.84 and a tax increase, we're still gonna have a deficit of $238,000. Do I feel that 3%'s manageable? Yes, but I definitely see an increase happening to be able to just sustain one of our health insurance, our wages, and basically the district's income. So those were what my projections are. You'll see in the middle, the increase in your revenues. I actually showed you what you would look like. So if you actually did that 19-cent millage increase, you're looking at 151,000. If you did the 38 increase, you're looking at 303,000. The 56 increase, you're looking at 446,000. And then the max increase is our max Act 1 index. You would look at 598,000 extra in revenue. I put at the bottom what the impact on the average property tax would be. So the average property tax on our homestead median was 121,000 was the assessed value. If you were to look at those increases, for your 1%, you're looking at $23 increase. Your 2%, you're looking at a $46 increase. Your 3%, you're looking at a $68 increase, and that max 4%, you're looking at a $91 increase in an average tax bill. So I wanted to show you what that's going to do to that fund balance.
So with the no tax increase, if I apply that deficit to that, you're gonna see where we're actually going to touch the fund balance and start reducing that because those funds are gonna have to come from there to be able to move forward. Like I said, I am suggesting that 3% to be able to still sustain in our budget for 26-27. Any questions? Let's discuss. So my biggest thing I want everybody to know is May 12th, we're actually going to be passing or approving for the proposed final budget. So we need to talk and figure out what we want to do so that way I can play with these numbers. I can show you what you're thinking. That way on May 12th, we'll be able to approve that. We'll still have work. The final budget will be approved on June 9th. Unfortunately, taxes are a big part, as you saw with that 52.1%. The thing about those is, and what helps us get through some different things, especially with the budget impasse, things like that. Those are highly collected July and August and September. So all of those funds are coming in at the beginning of our fiscal year. And then when you're looking at some of the state and the federal income that's coming in slowly trickling in throughout the school year. So that's a big reason why we've gotten through last year's budget impasse. It's because of the taxes that we got.
I have a question. Under the delinquent real estate taxes, is that the burden we've been carrying for years? It's up 50,000. It's 411. Goes from 500,000 in 25-26 to 550 and 26-27.
Well, that's over multiple years. So that's what they hold. So that's what we're budgeting. So over multiple years, each year we're sending delinquent taxes in. Oh, I'm trying to think of what it is. I'll get you an accurate number, but I'm thinking it's about 400,000 that we would submit to taxes each year to the delinquency. And they go through as they pay. We're collecting those funds. So that's why we're budgeting about that 500 for revenue coming in, because people are then paying them. A lot of people allow them to go to delinquency so they can then do the payment plans, where unfortunately you cannot do that with the actual taxes.
Thank you.
Can I ask on this comparison on this one, under 1200s? Number 400, show it to right here, the increase of 135,000 under purchase, repair, and services, did you know? What that's a big number?
That's a 300.
Where are you at?
Oh, the 300s, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
300s.
So those are IUs. 300s are, so she's actually on the year-to-year budget comparison that I had put in there for backup for your in your binder.
In your binder.
March 10th.
Sorry, I went into the binder.
Page 2 of 5.
There we go, start, yeah.
So these are other professional services, and with special ed, you're looking at IU services more than likely, yes.
Okay. Okay, is that, wouldn't that be under special education or is that under?
Well, some of them, so you'll have special education, you'll have
Okay.
Emotional learning.
Okay.
Yeah, they're under different things,
Okay,
but let me. Yeah, so your special ed.
yeah, because I didn't know if that would be under.
Yeah, any of those 300s, you're looking at other professional services that are coming in. So
Okay.
IU is gonna be the biggest one.
Okay. Transportation, is that
Yeah.
just gas?
Hmm?
Is that just? These other purchases services for us?
So that's actually our contracted services. So
Okay.
when we're doing any type of transportation, it falls under our 500.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that one doesn't surprise me because just. You'll. salaries on their parts and stuff too, so. I was just looking at some of the bigger numbers, I was trying to,
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
the other ones I knew the answer to, but they were just.
Yeah, like outside placements, so I put that, I didn't break it completely.
No,
I'll
I
break
know
it-
you didn't.
Yeah, I'll
That
break
was
it out a little
fine.
bit more for our next one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you have it broken out here,
Yeah,
rather.
some of those outside placements are just like the different schools that are, yeah.
Very expensive.
Mhm.
I think I can speak for everybody and say that we don't take it lightly. Time to make a decision to raise millage. Costing taxpayers and families out there more money. But the truth of the matter is, we have an inflation problem, okay? On top of that, we have an increase of salaries of $620,000. We have an increase in cost of employee benefits by $673,000. That includes that 9.9 increase in health insurance. With the way inflation's going, if we don't make some type of raise this year, I think we're gonna have a drastic raise next year. So.
And you have to
I-
think down the road, there is a reassessment coming in 2028.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see that, yes, that's gonna be revenue neutral for that year, but then you're gonna have a following year where all of these larger companies are gonna be appealing. And we already have them appealing,
That's just-
so, but you'll see more people going through that appeals process. So that could affect what we would be receiving on the taxing side of it.
What number would you be comfortable
I
with?
would-
I'm sorry.
Sorry, you go ahead.
Okay, finish, Brad.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Fund balance?
Myself, I'm comfortable in the middle of the range at a 0.38 or a 0.56.
I think
Even that, according to Jessica, isn't enough.
We're still flat.
But we have to
Yeah,
make
you
some.
Go up to the max
And
and get to a balance. but-
Regarding saving costs and stuff, this is something we do talk about over the years and every year. We don't do it at every meeting, but administration consistently and continually looks at cutting costs. As an example, I went into Lake Valley Elementary one time and the secretary in there has a coupon book because she herself is shopping for the cheapest pencils out there. Okay, so when a secretary in an elementary school is doing that, that tells me that the administration is doing that, everybody's doing that. Okay, so we do talk about it.
Well, and I think.
And if there's recommendations on major things that somebody wants to cut, go ahead and bring it up and we'll discuss it.
Well, I think we've even had those conversations when bids or anything have come in and pushed back on those too, so I think Guy. Trying to do his best due diligence as he can.
Just to echo what Brad had just stated about some costs that are really out of our control. When it comes to this budget session or conversation. There's nothing we can do about that. We have to eat it. However, I do have a question regarding the fund balance and what number you're comfortable with in that fund balance, because we're at 4.5 right now.
We're at 4.9 right now coming in of it.
So what's a comfortable number for you from a fund balance perspective to move forward? Or are you comfortable with 4.9?
I'm gonna tell you, yeah, I'm comfortable with the 4.5. That's why I'm kind of recommending that. I know the fund balance is going to take a hit, but then I also know that fund balance is gonna take another hit next year. And it might even take another hit the year after. That's what makes me uncomfortable. Like, I know that number's a big number, but what if we have another impasse? We have to protect what we have and be able to just to be able to keep operating if that happens.
Can you transfer some of it though and get us at like a 0.38 increase?
She has it there. She's
That
showing you that.
I'm recommending the 3, but we don't have.
She's showing that
But-
we'd be at 4.432 if we go with the 0.38.
If you wanna do the 1%, I mean, you're gonna look at
So
it
if
drop
you-
to that 4.
If you look on the next page, she'll show you. The fund balance for this too.
Right.
I mean, no matter what, yes, we're looking at a deficit and we're going to be hitting. And we're gonna be taking funds from that.
It's a question of how much.
Right, I'm recommending 3% because that number is what I'm comfortable with.
And
So
even,
here's another question. Sorry, Dan. We're looking at the baseball fields. And we have conversations of the engineers and stuff. Is any of that in this
No.
upcoming budget?
that would be capital.
That's all
Capital.
capital,
Yep.
yeah, so we're in capital.
And there's money there in capital.
Okay,
Even bigger picture, you heard it in a previous meeting, about the fund balance and how much we can have there. So we need to spend some of it down. I don't think you wanna get too low because I think you wanna set some of it aside for healthcare. You commit some of that fund balance to healthcare. Because this 9.9 is just the beginning up here.
that's the
So-
one thing is that we just had this discussion at the IU is that they actually, their healthcare increase was 11.1. So
Where?
at the IU,
Oh, really?
yeah. And they're and a consortium too, and theirs was 11.1, so I actually then felt a little bit better about the 9.9. But that was the conversation there, is that next year's anticipated for them to be right around 13 to 14, which then I would assume we're going to be
gonna
probably
be
around
close to
11 or 12.
So that was
On,
on,
yeah.
11 and 12.
11 and 12.
So when you saw on one of the slides, there was a PSERS, PSERS committed. That was when PSERS was going through huge increases and we protected the district budget and its taxpayers by setting aside fund balance and committing it to PSERS. So the only thing that could be spent on were PSERS contributions.
Right.
I would suggest the same thing for healthcare. Not spending your fund balance down to balance a budget, spending some of it, but then also committing a portion, and I don't know what those numbers are, that's why you have a business manager. Committing some of that to a healthcare. So that you can shelter and protect the budget from these incoming increases in healthcare. If you look even bigger than just.
You
what's
would
on
look
paper
at
here.
1.5 million to commit to healthcare, to really fall in. line
For
with
that 5%.
For that 8%.
And that's what the 0.56 increase.
Actually, when you're looking at that 8%, was addressed, you're looking at your
Previous.
expenditures, but your previous, the fund balance that you're, this year. And you're taking it against the expenditures, yeah.
So that would put us down at like 3.
So that would put us at the 8%, because that would put that fund balance down to 3,029,000.
Right. And that's, okay, that's her minimum, right, is 8%. What's the
So-
minimum fund balance that we can have?
All right, so the school code, it's 688, so I actually wrote it down, it says districts raising property taxes are restricted on the amount of unassigned fund balance. They can hold 8% of total expenditures. Off of what's your budgeted expenditures is what they're recommending and what is said in the code. So the fact that we're looking at raising taxes, it's saying, oh, that has to be 8%. So when I looked at it, we're at 12.16% with the current fund balance that I had.
Okay,
So when I did the 8%, it looked like I have to drop it by 1.5 million. And if we commit that into health insurance, those funds are committed to that and then it can only be spent on health.
And then that shelter.
so how are we
And then
over
we can
8%? Like, how are we allowed to be over the 8% currently?
But we didn't raise taxes last year. Taxes. were-
Yeah, that's right, because I said propose on the 0.75s and say we're gonna do it.
Yeah, so
I
we didn't
said,
raise
just
it, so
put
that's
in
why that
there.
can
Right.
come into play.
So tonight we need a cash,
Which-
correct?
Wait a second.
We need some direction.
Just need some direction. This is what I was recommending is a 3% increase. I want just a little bit of direction from you, so when I come back May 12, I have what you're looking for. I mean, I can still throw this information out there, but if I'm gonna do a proposed budget, I wanna have an idea, and then we can play with those numbers then.
No, I know what you're.
Even if I take it down to 2. So
No.
if you wanna keep it 2. No tax increase, do you wanna keep definitely, let's propose a tax increase, maybe 3% and a 1%?
So here's what I was just doing my math on. If we do no tax increase and put the 1.5 away, then our fund balance is $2,629,000. So, which is below the 8%. I bare minimum, like, yeah, obviously we 8%, right? I mean, no tax increase, we can be wherever we want, but that's saying if we put that 1.5 away. We do no tax increase, that puts us at 2,629,000. I don't know how comfortable I'm at that.
No,
I'm not
we'll
comfortable.
be coming with cuts and that, when you look at this
Right.
budget, 65% of it's people.
I was gonna say, you gotta
Well,
remember.
that's, so there's,
That's what
okay,
we-
so and that's also where my head, because the one thing that we all know I'm incredibly adamant about is small class size. Listen, if we keep all the people, can we get rid of study hall and the auditorium for high school? Sorry, I'm just putting that out there. That's want to be on your radar for next year because that irritates me. Sorry, because we're talking about cutting
We
people.
don't have the staff because over the years we've cut.
Okay, so
So we
That-
don't have people free to cover study halls and to pay a teacher. I mean, that investment on a new teacher is $140,000 with benefits to pay them to. You pay them to teach, so there are other ways we could do that. You could look at hiring study hall monitors and aides and bringing people in if that's a goal of the board.
I just look at,
That's
okay, this
just-
has gone down a bad rabbit hole, but when I look at like employees and the amount we're paying and this, that, and the other thing, and keeping classes small. And the fact that you have 3 different classes in an auditorium and literally they're doing nothing, like it's a waste of an entire period of education. Sorry, that went down a rabbit hole, but it went into salaries and class sizes and it just is like.
Well, is that because of the lack of subs or because of study hall, they're not losing education, the study hall, they're not,
But they're not doing, they
No.
literally, it's a free for all in there.
and then.
It's like the wild, wild
When you get
west.
3 of them in there, it's because of the lack of subs.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with. Salaries and benefits. That's just the lack of people.
I'd rather have small classrooms and study hall in the auditorium than.
Are we cutting any staff or any employees at all from the valley during our transition?
Oh, I know, I have 2.
Or at least for retirement.
Attritions.
Or
Yeah.
retirements.
Yeah.
I think, Brad, if I remember correctly, when we first talked about the valley was this cost savings benefit of $300,000 a year. That number seems to stick in my head for some reason once the valley closes.
But that's once we
It's-
get rid of it, cause we have to still, yeah.
I'm just saying, once the dust has settled.
It's.
But
a
that
little
puts
more-
inflational out
Yeah.
for, that's just.
Save on that, but.
It's a little north of 4. That included two teaching positions. But that money, remember, covers the bond
The
payment.
bond payment.
So that savings applies to
It's kind of.
the renovation and additions at later. So you can't count on now any staff above 2 teaching positions. That does come and hit the general budget.
Any other thought, suggestions?
I'm a 2% guy.
That's the 0.38, right?
Yep.
One thing I don't want to do is lose any services that we have in this district, because I know a lot of people outside of this district that I'm friends with that have children. And to me, this is the best district in Lycoming County by far. And I tell people that all the time, and I'm told that all the time. So I don't want to take away from anything that we've been doing to sacrifice that for whatever amount of money. I don't like seeing my taxes raised either. But we are in a predicament now that the costs are rising. We have no control of those, and we have to battle it somehow. So what is the easiest way to battle it? I think taking from the fund balance, doing a very minimal tax increase, keeping the staff at a level that we want it to be at, keeping our class sizes the way they want to be at, and having the infrastructure for our children to attend schools that are updated, new, and a healthy learning environment for them. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I concur. As much as I'd like to do no increase with the fiscal state of the country right now, doing no increase last year. I just don't, I feel unfortunately that's not an option this year, and I don't want to diminish our fund balance. That's just a bad move. So is everyone good with what she has projected now? Do we want to make any other suggestions for different percentage increases to look at, or
Are we doing 0.38 or?
for a cap?
6.
I've heard 0.38 so far.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
So cap at 0.38?
Well, no, always
we
cap at
suggest-
0.56,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, but it's worth,
Excuse me for-
yeah, no, I listen.
So you wanna, did we do that last year?
Yes,
Yeah,
I went all the
we
way,
did that.
I capped at 0.75 last
So
year,
we
and
did
then
a-
we ended up with nothing. But no, because you can't go backwards, we weren't
So we
nailed
didn't hire
yet.
them back.
We weren't nailed yet, but we needed to keep it on the table and figure it out.
Because once you set
Because
this on
once
May
you can't, you
12th.
can't go back.
Above it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I did put some. Cause that's as high as you could go, I figured it's not, and then we ended up with no tax increase, so
No.
that's good.
So then we should bring a point.
You
five,
could probably
six.
cap at 0.56.
Final proposed.
I don't think anyone's gone to 0.75 unless
I
I'm
hope-
wrong, no,
Doesn't
no
sound-
one's, yeah.
And I want to credit Jess, everybody knows how the price of things have gone up, to be able to come to you with a budget of a 2 to 3% increase is pretty impressive, and says a lot about what the team does with how we manage the money, so, thank you, Jess, and thank you, admin team.
I was gonna say admin team, thank you.
That's a feat to come in with the way costs are now.
I was gonna say you're less than the rate of inflation, so
Yeah.
congratulations.
Not bad for your first run.
It was fantastic.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm like half giddy with like my spreadsheets. I don't have as many questions. Could you give it to me?
I'm trying.
We're all grateful for that.
Exactly. Let me tell you, everyone
What
on
do you-
this board is happy that you do that, because normally I sit here for 5 hours asking 900 questions, so this has been nice, so thank you very much.
It's important to say, we don't need permission. Okay,
Thank you, everyone.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, that'll take us to our final public comment portion of the evening. Again, this is for residents and taxpayers. Please state your name and address. Read unfollowed.
It's Ron Snow over there. I didn't hear anybody say what the agreement with PSBA on 4.3 was. I read all those agreements. And there was no price on that. The other thing I want to bring up is, the 8% on the fund balance puts it at approximately $3 million. That means $1.9 million over what the state allows. I don't think that we would have a problem of using at least half of that to keep down the taxes. You need to think, and you all say it, but you gotta show it, that you think about the taxpayers. You gotta show that you care about the taxpayers. Instead of spend. Got a principle that you're gonna be adding a job for here when Wallstock Valley's closed. Why you replace the principle from the outside when you're gonna have a principle that you're gonna have to create a job for? Doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't make any sense to taxpayers to do that.
All right, seeing no one else in the room, we'll go to Zoom one more time. All right, no hands raised. That'll close that portion for the evening and we will move to adjournment. Take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.